Law enforcement's trying to predict what kind of crime is coming our way based on what happened during the last recession. Those are the clues the Denver police are looking at. They told our Anusha Roy some of the same trends are already happening.
Denver police knew things would change with the havoc the pandemic unleashed on the economy, and they're trying to anticipate what could happen by looking to the past.
Studying the last economic downturn, geolocated where those hotspots are. We've drilled down to the specific types of crimes that we saw upticks in.
Some of the trends are starting to resurface.
We saw spikes in aggravated assault, which is something that we currently see. We saw spikes in auto theft, which is something that is currently impacting us. We're very concerned about robberies out there. We have not seen the uptick in that.
These are also the types of crimes that typically increase this time of year as it warms up. And it's not all bad either. The increase in business burglaries during the pandemic has dropped off. In 2 months, officers caught 56 suspects, many of them in the process of breaking in and stealing. And more people at the parks has a benefit beyond getting some fresh air.
More people that actually walk their dog or utilize that park, it actually reduces the criminal element.
Ultimately, Denver police are studying both data from the last recession and what's currently happening.
What are you doing about it?
They're also figuring out what strategies did and did not work and looking at any new community partnerships that need to be formed.
For example, if business burglaries are happening in evening hours, we need to make sure that our workforce is there on the day of week, the time of day, and in the hot spot.
So when it comes to domestic violence, resources like the ones on your screen right now are still available. And for a while there, the number of calls for help were going down and the police were getting worried that people weren't reaching out for help. Well, those calls have started to pick back up again, and Denver police are now noticing that they are responding to more violent situations than what they typically see. So today, the chief really wanted to emphasize that the police are there to help, that resources, the community resources, are still open to help as well. Kyle?
Anusha, curious if other police departments are doing similar things.
Yeah, we checked in with Lakewood, Aurora, and Boulder, and they said that they're not doing this similar kind of comparison. But the Boulder County Sheriff's Office says that over the last 2.5 months, in general, their crime rates have gone down. A couple of areas seen a little bit of a spike, like car thefts, but again, it's what they're expecting for this time of year.
All right. Anusha Roy, thank you very much.